Hello everyone, I'm Eriris. Today I'm going to talk about Detective Conan. For those who haven't read the manga chapter 1096 yet, this video includes spoilers. In manga episode 1090, an elderly man appeared. And in manga chapter 1096, we encounter the elderly man once more. I'm going to talk about this elderly man today. In his debut episode, he sees a patrol car. And the elderly man says, after all, the police are nothing but a bunch of fools. He obviously dislikes police. The fire alarm at Sarah and Masumi's hotel was activated by the elderly man's driver in manga chapter 1096. Sarah and Masumi leave the hotel as the fire alarm sounds. The elderly man is watching this from his automobile. And when he sees the two of them, he says, "It's as if I'm dreaming right now." To recap all we know about this elderly man. His health is in serious condition. He is in such a condition that he always has an oxygen mask on. This oxygen mask appears in both episodes. He has his own driver, thus he's probably wealthy. Like I said before, he doesn't like police. For him, rejuvenation is a great thing. There are many theories on who he is. Let me look at each of these theories individually. Yasuharu Haneda. One popular theory is that this elderly man is Yasuharu Haneda. Yasuharu Haneda is Koji Haneda's father. Yasuharu Haneda's adopted son is Shukichi Haneda. I thought this might be true when I first read manga chapter 1090. However, after reading manga chapter 1096, I began to have doubts. Why did Yasuharu Haneda think that rejuvenation was good? In all honesty, I have my doubts about this. Karsuma. The most popular is the theory that the elderly man is Karsuma. Karsuma was born toward the end of the Edo period. He was a wealthy and influential multimillionaire who is the most powerful person in Japan, with a lot of famous, powerful, and political contacts in the world. And Karsuma is the organization's boss. If that elderly man is Karsuma, he informs Ram that apatoxin 4869 rejuvenates humans. Ram started to have his doubts about Conan. With some investigation, they can quickly locate Hibara. The old man even recognized Mary. It's impossible not to recognize Shiho. To be honest, the situation appears hopeless. A member in an organization other than Karsuma. You might be thinking, wouldn't this elderly man tell Ram this important information even if he weren't Karsuma and instead just another organization member? I believe it is linked to the organization's dynamics. In a video I made on Hibara and Jin's relationship, I also discussed this issue. About summarize what I'm talking about in this video, I'm referring to Shiho and Jin maybe forming a partnership for 2 years. Jin would avoid her sister from being murdered, while Shiho would support Jin's rise in the organization. If you want to know more about this theory, please watch my previous video. If you watched my previous video, you might remember me said something like, Karsuma might not like Ram. As the justification for this, I demonstrated that Ram is still the organization's second man despite his earlier failures. If he is still the second man in spite of these failures, he is supported by a large part of the organization. In both episodes, we see the elderly man using an oxygen mask. The elderly man's health is extremely precarious, and right now, his health ought to be his top priority. If this old man is Karsuma, he will be hurried to rejuvenate. Because he does not want to waste time, he will still tell Ram. Perhaps this elderly man also dislikes Ram. Maybe he will use this information to gain Karasuma's favor, or he will act alone and use the rejuvenating effect on himself. Former member of the organization. An ex-member of the organization explains why he thinks rejuvenation is a good thing. A very elderly man might want to try this on himself. I doubt he'll say anything to Karasuma or Ram if he's a former member of the organization. These are my guesses. However, the elderly man might not be any of these individuals. Who do you think this elderly man to be? I was curious by a few more details about this elderly man. He is in Kyoto in Manga chapter 1090, but in chapter 1096 he is in Tokyo. It seems like a genuine coincidence that he encountered the police cars in episode 1090. He didn't care about the police cars and instructed his driver to keep going. Therefore, I think he may truly live in Kyoto. Such an elderly and ill man wouldn't travel so far to Tokyo without a purpose, in my opinion. Before going to Tokyo, he probably learned about Mary and Masumi. Most likely, he just wanted to come and confirm it with his own eyes. This shows how important this knowledge is to him. How did he acquire such crucial knowledge? How did the elderly man recognize Mary? We would say that if he knew Shiho, he might have witnessed her childhood. But I have no idea how he came to know Mary. He may have searched into Mary's past, but how did he find old pictures of Mary with such ease? Mary is now 53 years old, so he must find photos from around 40 years ago. Did Mary and the MI6 agents ever become aware of this investigation? Please tell me if you have any guesses about this issue. Vermouth. You know that Mary was poisoned by vermouth. Another mystery surrounds Vermouth's decision to poison Mary in light of the fact that Apodicus in 4869 did not cause deaths. In my opinion, if this elderly man is Karasuma, he would be angry with Vermouth for failing. We know that Karasuma and Vermouth have a special bond. This was also mentioned by Bourbon in Manga chapter 898. We might learn what that link is if the boss and Vermouth have an argument. If the old man is a member of the organization, he can use it to blackmail Vermouth. I believe that if he conducts some investigation, he can also locate Conan and Hybera. It will be even worse for Vermouth if that occurs. Whoever this elderly man is at this point seems to be having a negative impact on Vermouth's position inside the organization. We already know that Bourbon is knowledgeable of Vermouth's secret. And now that Ram is starting to suspect Bourbon, this information is more crucial than ever for him. This information will be leaked to all organization members once Bourbon passes away. Therefore, Vermouth must defend Bourbon if she do not want this secret to be known. Can Vermouth defend Bourbon from Ram if her status in the company is damaged, though? What are your thoughts on this elderly man? Who do you suppose this elderly man is? He recognized Mary how? Do you think this will have an impact on Vermouth? Will the impact of Bourbon's trump fade? Please share your views with me in the comments. That's it for today. Thanks for watching the video till the end.